Hi everyone, how's everyone doing? So as you know, throughout the whole of January, throughout the whole of 2023, I'll be doing book reviews. And for this book, this is the first book actually that I'm going to be doing 2 book reviews. I've had to do a part 1 and a part 2. Now I'm just going to show you the size of the book. You can see how thick it is. But this is the best book I've read this year so far. I've given it 9.5 out of 10, and it's called Money by Rob Moore. To give you an idea, it just talks about in a world which increasingly feels like it revolves around money, it's easy to feel like the gap between the money you earn and the money you need to live the life you want is too great. It says learn how to understand money, make more of it, and live the life you deserve. Now, sometimes a title is just, it doesn't, because people are going to see this and think it's just called Money, and they're going to think, oh, it's just another book about money. This book is far more than that, and I think it's a shame actually that the title is probably not going to get as many people to buy the book, because they're just going to think it's just about money. It's about much more, and that's why I've decided to do 2 book reviews, and I've made loads of notes, so I'm just going to get straight into it, and I'm going to try to make it succinct. I don't want this review to be too long, and part 2 as well, but there's just so much information in here. So I've said that the title didn't prepare me for how fantastic this book was. I've gained so much knowledge. It's informative, educational, interesting. So some of the things I liked about the book is that the author shares his own personal memories about his own life and how money, the money journey that he's been on. So those examples that he gave helped me to visualize. So he talks about how his dad instilled in him as a child that he had to work and do little jobs, and then he had to give a percentage of his money towards savings. He had to put a percentage towards investing. There's 48 chapters in this book, 48, and it's taken me a while to read it, only because, not because of how long it is, but because I've kept reading chapters over and over again. There was so much information to absorb. There was information where I just literally had to stop and think and reflect. I've learnt so much. It's changed my perspective on how I spend money. It's changed my perspective on how I market my business. It's changed my perspective on the value of money, and also even in terms of my business, in terms of what I charge and that sort of thing. It's just changed my perspective in so many ways. So the chapters include money management and mastery, what is money, major money myths, the formula for wealth, marketing is money, pricing and value, your beliefs and where they come from. There's loads more chapters, but every chapter has a gem in there, or more than one gem. So there was a story, a little example is a story, it was called the Picasso story. So there was, Picasso was sitting in a cafe in France, and he was drawing a picture, and someone came along. He was drawing the picture on a napkin. It took him 3 minutes or 5 minutes. Someone came along and said, that's a nice picture, can I have that? Picasso handed the picture and said it will be a large amount of money. So he told them how much. The person turned around and said, how can you ask for so much money when it took you 5 minutes to do that drawing? And Picasso's reply was, no, it took me 40 years. And the example in there is that to create, that what they're trying to say is for us to get good at what we do and to build our skills can take a long time. But then what we charge sometimes is we undervalue ourselves, and people don't always know the time and effort it goes into what you charge. So it's like when you take your car to a garage, they charge you labor costs as well as their expertise, their knowledge. They charge you for parts. They don't just charge you on a basis of, okay, that's the part, we fit it and then that's it. Labor costs, other things go into it, plus VAT and all the rest of it. So what we always have to remember is, if we're good at what we do, we don't just charge based on what we think the market will be able to afford or how much we think per hour. We need to also look at all the other things that goes into it. So there's lots of information in here. There's this idea that it's saying how not to be rich is to listen to poor people, to read the newspapers, take other people's views or comments personally, follow the masses and what they do, make excuses, be scared to be yourself, fight battles that are not important. And he talks about these concepts of blame, complain, defend and justify. And it's all around the areas of money. You can go into it more in the book, but it's basically saying if people who blame the economy or blame other people for why they're not wealthy, people who complain all the time, about not being wealthy, people who defend certain beliefs and things, and people who justify making negative comments towards the rich and the wealthy. If you go on Facebook or on any social media on a normal day, you will see hundreds of people putting up posts that say health is wealth, having money in the bank doesn't make you rich, being rich doesn't make you happy. You'll have big debates from people that say all of these rich people are this, that and the other. You see over and over again, those are money beliefs that people hold. But what you have to understand is, if you have an idea and a vision and a plan of what you want for your life, it doesn't all have to revolve around money. But this book is really trying to teach you that you can have what you deserve and what you want and need in life. You can have a desire to be wealthy for your own personal reasons, and there's nothing wrong with that. So it talks about, in any monetary system, all expenditure must equal all receipts. All spending equals all money received. So do you have a reality-based abundance view and the mindset of money? Do you believe that money is everywhere and virtually limitless? Or do you have a scarcity mindset that there's not enough money around? Those two mindsets will depend on how far you can get in terms of gaining wealth. So it says, if you're moving in the direction of wealth and money, even if you haven't attained the levels you desire, keep going. So it's about your mindset, which we've all heard before in lots of other books, but this book goes into more detail. So it talks about this idea of fair exchange. So fair exchange is the balance of fair value and fair price that creates fair exchange. So any transaction has to take place for people to receive money. So you're purchasing something, that person's selling that thing. But in order for you to receive value, the other person has to think it's worth it. So people might spend £300, £400 on a pair of trainers if they think it's worth it. Another person is not going to. It's not about whether people can afford things or not. It's whether people. The only ways those sellers like Rolls-Royce, Rolex, Aston Martin, they don't turn around and say we're going to lower our prices to suit what the average person can afford. They're saying that someone out there will see the value in these products and they'll buy it. And that's all it's about. A fair exchange means that you're willing to spend a certain amount of money because you think that product or service is worth it. So that's really important when we're, as business owners, when we're looking at what we charge, but also just in life in general. If you think something is worth it, a course that you're doing, if you think you want to invest a certain amount of money in it, if you think certain equipment is worth it, then that's down to you, because you're trying to look at the value of that. So the other thing that it talks about, and so many things in here, is about common money myths. So money doesn't make you happy. The rich keep getting richer. There's not enough money in the world. Making money is hard. So it says that in people, what makes people happiest? Money. What makes people unhappiest? Money. And what you can be poor and happy. You can be poor and unhappy. You can be rich and happy. So what he's trying to say in the book is, it's not about whether you got money or not got money. It's about everything else that's happening in your life. Because obviously, if you've got lots of money but you've got terminal illness, then you would give all that money away so that you could be healthy. But at the same time, if you're broke and you can't even pay bills, can't buy food, money's probably the most important thing to you at that time, because you want to eat. So it's not about even happiness. Happiness is just an emotion, and you can get happy from anything. You can be happy walking down the street and just walking through the park. You could be happy spending time with your kids. It doesn't mean taking money out of that equation or putting it into that equation equals happiness. But what he's trying to say is there's so many derivatives for it. Money is a vehicle that gives you more of the free things that you want in life, and the ability to do more of the things that can make you happy. So what he's trying to say is money is just the vehicle, but it's not the thing on its own. So do you have a clear picture and outcome of the purpose you want in your life, the legacy you want to leave, the difference you want to make on this planet? So you need to have a clarity of vision. You need to increase your wealth and money by increasing the size of your vision, from personal, from local, from national to global. So anyone that has created something, say Apple, for example, with their iPhones, with their iPads, with everything that they've created, they started small, but then they ended up with a global brand. They're recognizable all over the planet. So what you want to do is, if you want to create wealth, you either want to create a service or a product that can go international eventually. So it's saying, can you merge your passion and profession? So this was something, this is the last point I'm going to make on this part one, is about people always try to get this idea of balance. They say you have to get work-life balance. You have to have time with your family, time with your business. What it's trying to say in this chapter was you can do both things. There's no such thing as balance all the time. But what you can do is, if you're going on a business meeting or you're going on a business trip, why not take your family with you? They get to have a holiday and you get to do business. It also talks about lots of ways where, because for me, as a business owner, I'm always, wherever I am, I'm making videos. I'm always, if I've got business cards to give out, when I first started, I was giving them out everywhere I was. If someone's inquiring, at 2 a.m, if people are sending an email, I'm not going to answer it there and then, but the first thing in the morning, I'm going to answer that. If it's a Sunday and someone's making an inquiry, sometimes I will respond to that. You are, as a business owner, to be fair, you are always switched on anyway. But you do have the balance. For me comes from, if I have at least one day a week where I take off, if I have more freedom, so it means I can go out and about like I'm doing now. I'm on my way to doing errands and things. If I have some time to spend with family, that's enough. I mean, it's never going to be 50-50. It's never going to be 50% time I'm working and 50% time I've got freedom, because if that's how someone operates, they're not going to make money. So a lot of the times in business, you do have to make those sacrifices. But what it's talking about is use it to your advantage. Make work integrate into your life so that you don't have to separate the two things, but you can have fun with it. This author of the book, Rob Moore, he goes to Dubai and he goes to business trips. He brings his whole family. They have fun. He said his wife and children have fun because they're going on holiday, but he also attends business meetings and makes deals. So he gets best of both worlds. So that's part one. Part two, I'm going to be talking about more key concepts. But this book, I would really recommend it. I'll give it 9.5 out of 10. And it's called Money by Rob Moore. Know more, make more, give more. And you can get it on Amazon. It's probably on other places. But yeah, fantastic book. It's just really opened my eyes to a lot of things. So I hope you found this video useful. If you have, leave your comments. Share this with someone if you think they'll find it useful. And I'll see you again. I'm doing part two now. Thank you. Bye.